You're listening to the Board Game Snobs podcast, a ridiculous podcast with ridiculous hosts that discuss ridiculous things. And any mention of board games is purely coincidental. And so, without further ado, and with a heavy dollop of shame and embarrassment on my part, I give you the Board Game Snobs.
And go.
If you're listening to this right now, we are no doubt having the time of our lives because we're pre-recording this episode for our listeners, our dear listeners of the Board Game Snobs podcast, because we are at the very exclusive Dice Tower retreat at this very moment. Unless something horrific has happened in between now and then, where we've died in a plane crash, or gators got us, or appendicitis. I don't know what could happen. Something could happen within the next few days that could render us...
Literally anything could happen.
Anything could happen.
Who are we to foretell the future?
Who's
A
to say?
giant asteroid? There's one hurtling towards Earth as we speak.
That's propaganda. Brought on by big asteroid. By a massive asteroid.
Who is little asteroid?
Little asteroid?
Who's the little asteroid that could? If big asteroid is like everybody hyping up asteroids. You remember that video game Asteroid?
Yeah, I do. I love it.
It was so basic.
Atari?
So basic.
Was
You just
not.
spin that triangle around and push the button until it blows up rocks.
No, you moved.
You could, but that was a dangerous maneuver.
I moved.
It was a
Did you ever
dangerous maneuver.
joust?
I was never any good at
I
joust.
love jousting. Flying those ostriches.
Hot Atari 1800 games.
Knocking. The Jungle Dude. Is it Jungle?
Pitfall.
I
Missile
hate
Command.
Missile Command.
And Ping Pong. Or Pong.
I didn't do a lot of Pong.
The most I did, a friend of mine had an Atari 1800. I think it's 1800. And we did the racing where you had the little circle
Little knob.
thing.
Yep.
The little knob, and you just twist that knob and push the button. Or maybe you pull. I don't remember. Anyway, and he would always have this one on ice. It was it just blew our 7-year-old brains. It's amazing how. See, this is what saddens me. Kids these days, they'll never appreciate this. Well, I say that I'm very much categorizing a whole generation of children not enjoying simple things. When you're a baby and you get a thing of plastic keys and you chew on them and drool, they're quite happy.
Well, we're discussing like that.
But when you get a little bit older and you're able to play that electronic device you've so been yearning to play, just going around in a circle on an 8-bit track was so pleasant. Even Mario.
I feel sorry.
That wasn't even 8-bit. I don't think Atari was.
No, I don't think so.
It was by far from 8-bit.
Nintendo was 8-bit, wasn't it?
Nintendo was 8-bit.
I feel sorry for that generation because I don't think there'll ever be that monumental acceleration of technology now. I think that what we have now will get better, but it won't distinctly be such a shock. I mean, because it went from Atari to Nintendo to, I remember that Game Boy thing, and not just Game Boy, but the Virtual Boy. I showed that to my kids. I pulled up a video of Virtual Boy, that red thing that you stuck on your face, suction to your face. That was the first 3D Nintendo thing. That was a deal that nobody remembers. I remember talking to them about the Sega Saturn and stuff like that. Going deep dive into this. While I was in Denver, I went to a retro store that was all 90s toys. It was all the old Jurassic Park toys and all the action and Ataris and Nintendos and all the Star Wars toys. It was everything from 70s, 80s, and 90s. And one of the things that got me was all the playing cards, not the trading cards. I collected the Jurassic Park trading cards and the Dick Tracy trading cards and all those other things that I looked and saw and remembered going, this will probably be nothing that my kids will ever get. They'll never engage with that type of thing because, maybe Pokemon, that's probably the most common Magic the Gathering type thing, but that's different than having a card that's just there for the nostalgia of the show or the series. But I don't think we're going to have that jump of technology, and I think that's going to be sad because I
I don't think so either, because it's going to be like, even now, we've gone from 360p to 1080 to 720, 1080, and now they have like 4K, 5, and especially from 1080 to 4K, I can't tell the difference. When we're talking resolutions on your TV.
I'm showing the original GTA on PlayStation, the top-down one, and now we're like looking at GTA coming out, which costs like how many it's insane. Like games cost so many billions of dollars or something like that. It's an insane endeavor. And I'm going, looky here. This was the original, and this is where we're at now in this time period. So yeah, it's not that I feel sorry for kids, because I think what will end up happening is that they won't get to experience that great jump in technology, but I think that they will come to appreciate more hands. I think what will end up happening is that the generation will do like the hipster thing. They won't reject technology so much, but they'll look back and like more analog things. I think that's why board games has had such a resurgence to some degree. They'll appreciate things that aren't.
Retro has, I wonder at what point retro has been in. Because like.
Retro's almost always been in.
So like in the 60s, were they looking back to the 40s and 30s, like trying to like, oh, that's so nostalgic to us?
Well, not.
Because we're only familiar, like for us, now the 80s and the 90s are nostalgic, and TV shows are the 80s and 90s. Was that the case in the, well, I mean, it's like in the 60s, I guess they were making like.
I suspect there were a lot of people.
My Three Sons and stuff.
I don't think.
Leave It to Beaver.
I think that, to your point, I think people have become nostalgic about entertainment. That's a newer phenomenon. I think people were nostalgic about ways of life back in the 40s and 50s and 60s and so forth, but not so much entertainment. Perhaps music, as probably was I would assume would be the first real entertainment that people got nostalgic about, which they've done studies about how your brain is formed with the music that you grow up listening to, and why newer music is always offensive to you almost.
Yeah.
Like sounds like it's just trash. It's because your neuroplasticity
You'll always
in
be
your
my
brain.
Black Queen, mama.
Yeah, that type thing.
Tupac.
And yeah.
He's my nostalgia.
He is.
Pearl Jam.
That type thing.
Jeremy Spoken. It's hard for modern music to beat the music I grew up with, to me, in my brain.
Who sang Pompeii? That hail, hail, hail.
I think that was the band, Pompeii.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. I made
That's not that.
No, it's not that old. But on the way over here just now, my kids want to listen to the radio, and I pulled up, and I said, I'm going to listen to this, and I just pulled up a song that I thought, you'll like this. It's not that old. How old is that?
Let's see. Oh, Pompeii, sung by Bastille.
Bastille.
So, yeah, you were right. That was in...
I made them listen to it because I want them to hear.
2012.
You're kidding me.
That's not that old.
It's not that old?
I mean, it's pretty old.
Okay.
Your kids didn't exist in 2012.
Yeah. So I was purposely looking for something that was outside.
Were they? When were your children
born?
No,
they were not. Yeah. So it's like this reference.
On the very edge.
So there's that. And then I went back and we listened to that Come On Eileen song that was on Perks of Being
Sweet
the Wallflower.
Caroline?
No, Come On Eileen.
Oh, Come On Eileen.
Come On Eileen.
Okay, yeah. I don't like that song.
It's eclectic. And I just went going down listening to older and older stuff to try to say, hey, it changes, but there's great music in almost every generation. It's just that the struggle I'm having is finding good music today because, and I'm like, it's because I have to strive to find something that's
suitable for your children.
That type thing. And so it's hard, but yeah, that nostalgia thing, I think for entertainment's relatively new.
Okay, speaking of which,
okay,
I don't know if you wanted to do this or not, but Andrew Maloney wrote us back in August of 2025.
This is August. This will come out in September, though.
This is September. He wrote us on August 3rd.
Who?
Andrew Maloney.
I don't know him.
Oh, shame.
Do we know him?
My name is Andrew. This is a rather long, so I'm going to kind of skim.
Oh, he wrote the long email.
Yeah,
yes. Okay. Yes. I remember this one. Go ahead.
He says his name is Andrew. I've written to you before, but it's been some years. I currently reside in the Nutmeg State.
Why are they called the Nutmeg State?
A small town, the Connecticut River Valley. Over 5 years, I've taken you in my back pocket from North Carolina to Maine to my current home. Okay, he still doesn't say where he's at. Is it Connecticut?
Well, it's.
What's the Nutmeg State?
I'm looking it up. I'm assuming.
Always listening and appreciating your raw and genuine conversations. I mention this mostly to encourage you. I always need that. And to show you that while you may often express disappointment with your listening numbers, I do. Give me them clicks. I think you connect with your listeners more than the average podcast. I'm sorry that doesn't happen to be lucrative. Okay, so he's going to go back to our Superman conversation. This is a long email, but I'm going to go through it because Andrew wrote this and he put some time into it, and I want to put it out there for him. I'm writing today to share a thought about Gobby's relationship with Superman. In his discussion with Jerry about Man of Steel, I found his visceral rejection of a story that forced Superman into a realistic, morally ambiguous circumstance to be thought-provoking.
As did I.
Mainly, it made me think a lot about how escapism through media functions for us in today's complicated world. In both of the cases, he mentions Superman and Archie. It seems that ultimately Man of Steel and Riverdale not only undermine what Gobby loves about those icons, but also thwart his fundamental relationship with those characters, failing to provide him the safe and idealistic space their stories have offered in the past. Myself, as I've aged, I haven't lost my taste for science fiction and fantasy either, but I have gravitated towards narratives that maintain the fun parts of those genres, while also incorporating reflections of real human hardship. I seem to find it easier to think about the personal effects of war, poverty, exploitation, etc., when packaged in a way that provides a degree of disconnect with those subjects. In essence, I seek out the very thing that irked Gobby so much, though we are both seeking some form of comfort or coziness. Which of us sits with the majority today? I'm unsure. In mulling all of this over, I wondered about Superman's rise to popularity during the Great Depression. I imagine countless readers during that time had plenty to escape, and I can't help but wonder why so much of our popular media today does not mirror this clinging to safety and innocence. I think not only about Riverdale, but Succession, Squid Game, The Bear, and countless other shows that are widely popular and also harsh and true in the way that they depict human greed, violence, and selfishness. I'm not sure that it's fair to compare America's current environment with the Great Depression, but certainly there is a terrifying upheaval in many people's lives. Things are expensive, fundamental changes to government are affecting people's lives in unprecedented ways, and our lives and attention are being aggregated and algorithmized to the benefit of very few. Why in our binge watching are we not all searching for the Superman Gobby loves?
That's a good question. Now, you're going to read the entire...
Listen, we're almost done at this point.
You're not. You got multiple paragraphs.
I'm not going to do the PS.
No. But I'm saying the question that he poses.
Okay.
Here's the question that he poses. He says, is there a modern media that provides the escape Gobby craves? Or have we become so jaded as to lose our collective desires for a peaceful society, feeding our isolation, echo chambers, and large-scale polarization? So, is there an escapism?
Let me just go ahead and say, I'm sure the answer lies in between, but I'd be interested to hear what you both have to say about the matter. Is there modern media that provides the escape Gobby craves? If not, why? I will say, Andrew Maloney, you sound like a smart man.
Well, first off, he's a librarian.
That is a very thoughtful...
But you don't remember him.
I remember Andrew Maloney. I don't remember what his previous question was.
You don't remember? He said, okay. I remember Andrew. I had to look it up because that name stuck in my head after I said previously. He's a librarian. And
all right, Enrique, put the microphone at your face.
Don't shame me. He's the one that corrected you when you...
How dare you, Andrew?
Yes, he sent very much articles regarding something. He's the only person that has ever written in my defense.
That's false.
He is. Nobody else. Yeah. Anyways.
Poor Jerry.
And he also asked to be on the show, and you never got back to him.
I didn't respond?
No. You
Andrew?
did. Yeah, you did.
Thank you. Okay, so I did. Okay, so let's not get stuck in the past.
I'm just saying he wanted to be on the show.
He can join our Discord, whom we talk to regularly. I talk to regularly.
Well, you need to have him on the show.
So let's get down to
books our guest.
Andrew Maloney. You're welcome to come on our show, and I will even have you on as a special guest.
Special guest. He enjoyed our latest
Andrew the librarian.
He might not be a librarian
anymore.
Does
he fight evil much the way Noah Wiley does?
So back to his question.
I like when you just shake your head at me. No,
I just escapism.
So, why in our binge watching are we not all searching for the Superman? Thank you. I'd like to know that as well. No, it's my wife is texting me. Stop. I don't mean that. Wife, you can text me all you want. I just mean I'm trying to read this, and I still get these messages. All right, go ahead, Jerry. Sorry.
No, he asked you the question.
He didn't ask me anything.
He asked you.
He said, why in our binge watching are we not all searching for the Superman Gobby loves?
No, his question is there modern media that provides the escape Gobby craves? If not, why?
There is modern media that provides what I like, and I'll tell you what it is. And Jerry has said this before, and I don't know why this seems to be specific to the British.
I hate them guys. I tell you what, those British always doing something.
Jack Hughes.
What have they done now?
Huddersfield.
Now, what about Brits?
They're more in tune with it. I will not. Okay. I'm not going to just like encapsulate all of humanity.
You might as well, but encapsulate the British.
But like, there's shows on TV. I'll keep it to TV shows specifically because that's the thing that I can come to that, for whatever reason, gives me this cozy, comfortable feeling. I've mentioned this name of this show 1,000 times before. All Creatures Great and Small.
Yeah.
It takes place in the 30s and 40s. It's this idealistic English countryside. Everyone gets along. The biggest problem is a sheep that's having a calf too early.
Mm-hmm.
Do sheep have calves? Only from the elbow down.
Really small. Yeah. No, when they give birth, they're like, ew. I cannot believe. Okay, go ahead. There's a veterinarian who listens to this who's just dying laughing.
But that genre of show, the All Creatures Great and Small, even the Downton Abbeys, but Downton Abbey even has some themes in it that, kind of skew a little dark.
They spend 3 episodes trying to figure out
how to have a party.
Yeah.
But especially All Creatures Great and Small. Like, that is my go-to. And there's others, like even Doc Martin. It's just this, it kind of gives like, and I would say Northern Exposure, give that vibe of there's a community feeling. Everyone's ultimately good people. Like in those shows, there's no one that's generally, there's no one that's evil. There's no like evil thing happening. It's just people dealing with the inconveniences of life, and ultimately the way they come over those inconveniences is by coming together as family or community and dealing with it, and all ends well.
Yeah, I don't like that, but that's just me.
But that's what gives me, that's the media that he was asking that provides that for me, and those do that. There's also shows on Netflix that and I haven't gone far into it, but there's a show called Virgin River. It's very, very sugary sweet.
Nobody likes that.
It's the same thing. Just this.
Has nobody ever swam in it?
The small town feel. It's like Doc Hollywood. Small town girl comes to this little village and has to deal with the quirky personalities. There's another show called something Magnolias or something, but there are shows like that on streaming media that provide people this environment that does not exist in reality, that everyone seeks, that everyone thinks once existed, and maybe it did.
Here's Andrew firing up. Here, Andrew at his keyboard already.
He could be.
He's at
the old Superman shows of the 30s and 40s, like, oh, he just knocked out a bank robber and everything's good.
Well, to your point. So yes, there are things that provide escapism. But even Andrew brings out that he doesn't even really like a lot of sci-fi or fantasy now. He tends to lean more towards, as you pointed out, about dealing with real life situations, basically.
And I think a lot of older shows and these new modern shows that are like that, they focus on the way they overcome this difficulty. It does have a resolution, and everyone feels good about the resolution. And it's a happily ever after type scenario.
Which doesn't happen. One of the questions that he asks is it better to refrain from blinding oneself and engage with escapism that at least acknowledges the human condition, or have we become so jaded as to lose our collective desire for a peaceful society? So it's the idea of, can it not at least smack of realism?
Well, that's what Star Trek used to do with their sci-fi.
Which I really liked.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I did not like about the new Superman, and that you and Mark talked about regarding that Not My Superman never kill anybody, Man of Steel thing, which was exactly what I liked, because the thing about Superman was he would be put in a situation where he had to make a choice. Would he be able to make that choice? The Man of Steel was kind of that foray into it, and into a much darker Superman because of it, but I think they took that too far. Needless to say, for someone like myself, it's much more engaging to see that, because I know the true reality is that Superman will have to make a choice at some point in time. It will happen. And thus, what would he do in that situation? And not that every single thing will always work out to where he can always keep this moral code that he has that is unattainable in this world. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
I'm not. That's what I'm saying. Like, we have discussed this previously, but
I didn't go very strong on it because I stopped short of saying you're deluded if you think Superman.
Well, no, it's not deluded. It's just that
it is deluded.
Well, no, it's not deluded. It's the point of when we're talking about entertainment media. So we have our choices, basically.
Right.
So if that's not for you, the simple thing to do is to not view it.
Right.
Instead of viewing it and then complaining about it. But that's fine to complain about it because it's, free choice, blah, blah, blah. So I don't mind viewing something that makes me uncomfortable or that I don't necessarily agree with, which, by the way, we've started a new movie ladder club in our Discord. Feel free to join our Discord, link in the show notes, in which we are recommending movies that have a link to other movies and that we all view and share our opinions on. And they are generally movies. So far, we just got freshly started. But, somebody recommends a movie and you watch it and share and even though it's not something you would generally watch.
And Brokeback Mountain and 8 Seconds do not overlap. Y'all stop posting stuff like that. Hashtag Lane Frost.
But the first one was Maximum Overdrive, which has got the clown, not the clown. It's the guy from Spider-Man.
Yeah, the gremlin.
What's his name?
William Defoe.
What's his name?
Huh?
What's his name?
The clown?
The Goblin. Green Goblin.
I said the Goblin, yeah.
God, you did not say that.
I said Defoe.
It has the Green Goblin on the face of that semi, which I have seen. I remember that stupid truck from growing up in Fandango magazine.
Yeah.
So
back to your
point. The movie. Anyway, so basically what the point is, you have your choice whether or not to engage in this media or not. I don't have to watch Man of Steel and then be so upset that I watched Man of Steel when I knew going into it, it's a dark Superman.
Yeah.
I enjoyed, however, I enjoyed the dark Batman, but Batman's already dark. But I enjoyed the Batman Christopher Nolan universe, even though they did. It's like, okay, do we have to get so real and nitty gritty? But at the same time, it ended on a hopeful. No, that's not the Christopher Nolan Batman.
I really wish it was.
But even that Batman ended on a hopeful note.
He's beating Bane. Bane just goes, Martha.
And I think that's what bothered me so much about Man of Steel. And not to reiterate what we've already discussed 1,000 times over. It's the hopeful note. That's a hopeful note.
Was it not hopeful?
No, I mean, the last thing he did was snap a man's neck. That's not a hopeful note. I don't want to beat this dead horse.
No. You're clarifying it.
But that's what is in my brain for that movie, as opposed to something more positive, happy, universal community.
Right.
So that's and sometimes I feel like give me something nitty gritty. Sometimes I feel like I need something cozy.
Well, back to his question: is it better to refrain from blinding oneself and escape with and engage with escapism that at least acknowledges
I don't
the human
think you
condition?
need to blind yourself to anything. I don't think anyone is blinded. If you watch the news, you're not blinded. The world is hellacious. Now, if you choose not to indulge in further hellaciousness of the world and watch dark themed shows, I get that.
Right.
I don't think that's blinding yourself to it, though. If you are aware of the state of things and how bad everything truly is, or maybe you have a more positive take on things, you're like, I think things are looking good. Science is doing good things, blah, blah, blah. You can go that route as well. But I would think for the most part, people on a day-to-day basis are just trying to make it through, trying to take care of their families and trying to maintain some notes of positivity in an otherwise bleak-looking world when you turn on the news.
So I'm gonna respond for Andrew, because Andrew's a very intelligent man. I figure we must think alike. So there is. Are you looking up something? Because you got your phone back up.
You require eye contact. No, I was rereading his email the last few questions.
No. We're sticking with that one question about the escapism.
I'm with you.
So
I see you.
Would there ever be a case,
not intensive care unit, but
for instance, people are blinded by essentially a form of escapism that is idealistic, that so much so that they would ignore what's actually going on in the world, that it would cause them to be disassociated from reality and miss the fundamental things that are actually taking place in reality?
I think we're saying that take place right now.
Okay. So how does that differ from just...
That's a lot.
Yeah. So it's basically the Matrix, is what I'm saying. But the whole thing is I understand both of those points, and I think Andrew's right. It's in the middle. There is a form of escapism, which is fine. I think that one, basically, to summarize it, once you delude yourself so much so that that's all that you're focused on and that you're using that to detach from reality so much, then you become deluded. Then you've really caused an issue. And I think that's why a lot of the entertainment now has perhaps dealt with more real-world issues, has kind of come out and been a little bit more grittier, that whole dark, gritty reboot type thing.
But a lot of what comes out now is also artists, for their own reasons, trying to make a statement.
Right.
Which is what artists do.
Right. Is there anything wrong with that?
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's just...
I think it's
you're going to have two camps or multiple camps of people, but there's nothing wrong with having a camp of people. And you hear this in board gaming all the time too. Don't bring your politics into board gaming. Like that's a
I wasn't
cry.
Even talking about that.
No, but it kind of goes along with this. That's a cry that you hear all the time. You know, when people start trashing on a game that it's kind of got, colonialism in it or other themes in it. Well, don't bring your politics into board gaming. I understand that point of view.
Right.
Now, whether or not that person is a reasonable person in everything else and they understand the
history,
eccentricities in the history and why that might be a sensitive subject for others, that's not for me to say.
Right.
But I get that, and I've played games that, like one of my favorite games is colonialism, the Empire of Ages,
right?
Age of Empires. I literally don't think about colonialism when I'm playing that game because I'm just playing a board game. And I've said that before. I don't think deeply until Andrew Maloney writes in, making me think deeply more than I usually do.
Well, no, I think that form of escapism, and I understand what you're saying, that the disconnect from it. I think the point that he was talking about was Superman, is that you could not fathom how Superman would ever be. You declared that Superman would never be in that position where he'd have to choose to kill somebody, right?
As I grew up with Superman, no.
Okay. That is unattainable.
But as the world progresses as to how it is now, and they're...
No, that's unattainable. That is cannot possibly be.
That's true. He's a fictional character.
No. Even if he was real, it is unattainable that there would not be a situation for which...
I know, but we're rehashing what we have already said.
I don't know. I'm not rehashing that. I'm saying that's his point, is that there is a sense of this could not possibly happen, whereas the Man of Steel Superman, he was presented with that. Your reaction to the Man of Steel was a visceral rejection of that Superman and that situation. Whereas my reaction to that Man of Steel was sympathy or empathy and an understanding of it. And I like that Superman more than this other Superman. You like the Superman that is cheerful and all these other great things took place. My question is, if that Superman is never morally challenged, how super is he? If he never has to make any hard decisions, if it always works out for him, then really is he that great? Is he something to look up to? Or is it the Superman that is faced with insurmountable odds where there is no good way of doing it? There's no great outcome. He just has to deal with it and make the best decision. Isn't that not truly the Superman for one to be admired? That's the point I think that Andrew's trying to get at, is that the escapism on your side is there is
unrealistic.
Right. It's a complete escapism. Right. It's not, it will not happen. It will never happen. The other Superman at least smacks of moral ambiguity and issues that could come up, and that speaks to somebody else who doesn't necessarily want to completely escape, but wants to still have superheroes and Batmans and Star Wars and Space Wizards and all that mess, but still have to face with real world or actual interpersonal reactions and interactions that speaks to them on a certain level. That Superman, the other Superman that's always out winning and never does anything bad and everything works out for him and he can't, all that is unimaginable to somebody who has been, that's unimaginable to somebody like me. I'm not entertained by that. It seems, I don't want to say childish or elementary. It seems so far-fetched that I can't connect with that. But the other Superman who is being forced to deal with something, I go, that makes sense to me.
So then really it could just all boil down to, not boil down to because it simplifies things, how you were raised.
Well, not necessarily how you're raised, but I'm just saying and make sure I'm clear, neither one of these is right or wrong. It's not you shouldn't watch this or you should watch this. It's simply the fact that
because you may have somebody, a personal preference, somebody that was raised, let's just go, I was raised in a violent family, abusive, and I choose to not delve into anything associated with that because I lived through that. So let me have happy-go-lucky media.
Right.
That doesn't focus on real-life scenarios of abuse.
Right.
Whereas other people may have been raised in that scenario, and they can't imagine a world where that doesn't exist.
Exactly. And thus they're more connected with the character. And that's why I like these. And like I said, making sure that there's no right or wrong. It's a preference. But that's why I like seeing that type of media redone and revamped, because it gives you different sides of it. And there are I love it when somebody recommends a film to me and I watch it and they're like, they're raving about it, and I go and watch it and I go, yep, I didn't like it. But I see why you like it, but I didn't like it.
Would you say, question for you,
mm-hmm.
Would you say the world has the world gotten worse? Because now there are like most of the predominant critically viewed media is Succession, even Peacemaker, like all these shows that are just like, the characters are so fatally flawed so moralistically, God, I had the word in my brain.
I understand what you're saying, though.
They're so, good Lord. Anyway, all of these shows nowadays that are popular, critically viewed, critically loved, are full of terrible people, for lack of a better phrase, but also kind of trying to do the best they can. Whereas back in the 50s and 60s, it was My Three Sons, and just the Honeymooners. And
television back then was more sitcom-y, but I would warn you can go back to the 60s and look up some of the movies. This was still going on. The types of movies.
I'm not saying it didn't exist. Obviously, it's existed throughout all of humanity.
Right. But I'm saying the movies themselves that were quite popular at the time were still along that lines.
But used to, it seems like, for the majority, the heroes were heroes, very clearly so.
Oh.
The villains were villains, very clearly so. Whereas now those lines are just very murky.
That's interesting because I've not seen that to be the case. In most media today, there is no nuance. They practically tell you this person is the most wonderful thing ever and they can do no wrong. And this person here is certainly evil. They give no character development or background.
Really? I mean, come on. It was just the Batman. The Dark Knight. He was... between him and who was the first guy, Liam Neeson?
Uh-huh.
I mean, their reasons for choosing their paths were both violent.
Yeah.
But one chooses to do this, but the way they affect those means are not too far apart.
Well, Batman didn't...
Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, well, Batman wasn't killing anybody, whereas Ra's al Ghul was trying to blow up a town.
But now he kills people.
But no, not in that particular one.
Kills people with machine guns.
But not in that one. But my point is that no, there's.
And now the anti-hero is more of who that is the very popular way to go.
Okay, that anti-hero thing.
I know we've had this discussion.
We can have that discussion again. There are no anti-heroes.
But
nowadays.
The hero that is not your Boy Scout Blue, not Superman. He's got flaws and issues and imperfections.
Name one, please.
Iron Man.
No. Universal.
Iron Man is a bad guy.
Iron Man?
He was a weapons salesman, an alcoholic, and he became Iron Man. He literally sold weapons.
Oh, okay. I see where your disconnect is here. I see it now.
My disconnect.
Yeah, no, because there is a disconnect here, what you're saying.
Okay.
You're going, this bad person or this person that was fundamentally flawed becomes this good person. That is not an anti-hero. That is not.
I'm not. Okay. Forget I said anti-hero.
I know.
I'm
not even focusing on that. You're going, this bad person becomes a good person. That's not what I mean. That is the same issue that we have with all these media.
About bad becomes good, even like Riddick. I'm gonna say Riddick.
I know, but Riddick is not even...
I stand for Riddick.
Somebody who's who's had a show within the last decade. I'm saying with all the shows, there are no good guys.
Right.
That are fundamentally...
Or fun, duh.
That have any conflict. There is none. They had conflict, and then they flipped the switch. There are none.
But like House, the guy, like that whole show House he's on the edge. He's on the edge of being a bad doctor. Like there's so many, I'm just picking particular scenarios, but used to, it was, this is the cowboy in the white hat. This is the cowboy in the black hat.
Right.
Just straight down the line. You got your Roy Rogers, you got your bad guy.
Right.
I went really old school because my father used to watch all that.
I stood Shane.
And even the Magnificent Seven, they was kind of ambiguous.
Yeah,
Dirty Dozen. Yeah. So I can see even in those days, they had those ambiguous type personalities where they did make positive decisions in the end. But that was few and far between as opposed to nowadays.
I would say the exact opposite.
You think so?
Yes, there is no nuanced superheroes or good guys. That's the problem. That's why everybody hates them.
No, that's why everybody loves Marvel, the nuance. They all deal with these imperfections and flaws, yet they get past them to be a hero.
What what nuance does Captain
Spider-Man, the nuance is he let his uncle get killed accidentally because he was scared to stop the bad guy, thus his uncle died.
Okay, but
that's why people love Spider-Man.
But he's
because he made a mistake. He was flawed.
Oh, well, that's different though. That there's a difference between it being a mistake and there actually being a bad person. There are no bad. Thor is not bad. Captain America is not bad. They're
somebody bad.
Think of somebody. I mean, may I reference the whole Rey Star Wars thing from the beginning to the end? I mean, there is no nuance in these characters. They have no character arc. The most popular shows are from characters that.
And what? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, what?
I was just going to say, okay, so not that I relate everything in my life back to Fast and Furious.
Which you do, yes.
But everything in life does go back to Fast and Furious.
Yes.
So like in the recent movies, several of their characters, like Jason Statham, are quote unquote the bad guy in one episode. But then they make him the bad guy in that he was just simply taking action to avenge his family member who was a Shaw.
Yeah.
And then, but really he's a good guy because they make him, well, he was just taking action. He's a good guy. He was defending his family, but what he really meant was not that harmful. He's ultimately a good guy deep down. So now he's with the family.
Right.
So in one show, from the point of view, it's all about the point of view. He's the bad guy. Go to the next movie, they change the point of view of that character, give you reasons why he did these things. You're like, okay, I can understand that he's now a good guy. Even though he's not really a good guy, because he still does bad things to do good things.
Okay.
But
that wouldn't even, I wouldn't even think, I think you're still struggling with the finding a hero who is not always a hero.
I know they got to be out there.
Well,
there's got to be a movie
not
where
within
the
the past. I know there are, but they're not within the past 20 years of the poor writing that we've had.
Can you think of anybody like that?
Oh yeah, there's tons of them, but it's not.
Well, name one.
Well, but when you're talking about, and here's the distinction. You're looking at it as a dichotomy between good and bad, and very interestingly, everybody that you've described has been a bad guy who has then become a good guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. I'm saying it stops in the gray area. There's no moral implications, or there are. So you don't have a definite, this is a good guy, this is a bad guy. This is okay, I'll give you one.
I'll just say what you're looking at is a human who is both good and bad and has those capabilities both in him.
No, I'm looking at well-written characters that there can be nuance in. For instance, the thing that the internet lost their mind over Andor because of old Skarsgård, what's his face, acting. And if you want to watch a character that is obviously he creates the rebellion, he's the guy that is causing all these things to happen, he's a bad guy. He does terrible things. That is an endlessly quotable character. That is on the verge of a Shakespearean play. I mean, that
Luthen Rael.
Luthen Rael. You didn't even have to look that up. I can tell you exactly, because Luthen Rael is an anagram for King Lear, which is based on the whole idea of what this character is supposed to be. And if you're familiar with King Lear, that was the king that gave his daughters all this stuff and then has that amazing monologue, just like how Luthen Rael has probably one of the best monologues ever committed to Disney Plus, period.
And even Andor, our first introduction to him, he kills a guy. That's a good guy.
Who are you talking about?
Cassian.
I'm not talking about Cassian.
I know, but you're talking about bad guys.
I wouldn't call Cassian a bad guy.
But he did a bad thing.
So does that make you a bad guy?
Exactly.
Does it?
That's the thing.
What's the thing?
What you're talking about.
I know, but does it? That's the question. Is that doing good things, does that make you a good guy? Or does doing bad things make you a bad guy?
If you do bad things.
And where is that implication when you're writing a character? At what point do they cross the line? And so it's a very fascinating thing that there is, and like Andrew was talking about, how he has kind of given up on fantasy and sci-fi, and how he's kind of more grounded, and even recommend the movie I got to watch, in things that are more real, more things that can kind of make sense in everyday life. To me, that is more inspiring when you can watch a character have an arc and you understand how they got to where they need to be. You watched all of Andor, right?
I did.
Okay. The blonde lady whose name I cannot think of at the time. She's the main one.
Mon Mothma?
No, the blonde lady, the main character that you follow, the Imperial ISB agent.
Oh, Dedra Meero.
Dedra. What a wonderful character.
Yeah.
And wonderfully played.
I would also say Cyril.
Cyril? Yeah.
He was fascinating to me.
Absolutely. Both of those characters to be, you can make a case for them, but yet when you see her, you go, she's a bad guy.
Right.
But no.
But is she? She's doing her job.
Well, not that excuse, but from her perception.
From her perspective.
And her perspective.
She was hunting a terrorist.
Correct.
Right.
And same thing with him. Like there's these perspectives that were presented.
And he thought he was doing the right thing until the last moment.
Right.
Spoiler alert.
And so what a great, and to me, I think that's the point of escapism. I don't want to escape reality. I want to be commiserate with it in my entertainment. I want to watch something and go, oh, I know, yes, I see that. I understand that. And to me, that is much more interesting, because what do we have to talk about with Superman? Nothing. Superman's great. He does everything perfect. Loves Lois Lane, blah, 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 blah. There's no nuance. There's nothing about Superman that is fundamentally interesting to me, because his experiences are A, not mine, but B, not necessarily even realistic in a grand sense. But I can watch Star Wars and somehow connect with this Jedi Knight that does all these various things, because I understand this is a family drama about a father and his son and his loss and his grieving, and how that can push somebody over the edge, and how all these various things can take place, and a redemption arc, and can watch that and appreciate that amongst all the insane, incredible things that would never happen to me, that I don't understand what's going on and all this other things, but yet that fundamental arc is there and it grounds you in it. And that's why I don't like the new Superman. It is not escapism to me, but something like the Man of Steel, where I can go, oh, he's not supposed to do that. Superman's not supposed to kill somebody, but he was faced with this thing and he did it. Oh, that's awful. Oh, and that is much more appealing to me, because now I can't connect with a 6'4" muscular Henry Cavill who can do no wrong and is always, everything works out for him, but I can connect with this character who has had a moral conundrum and was forced to do something in the heat of the moment, and now he carries that with him.
I understand that 1,000%.
Mm-hmm.
But that does not mean that I'll also have a part of me, like if I was to watch a show about a fat superhero that deals with wanting to eat all the time and he does all these things. Okay, I identify with that person.
That's a great idea, by the way.
It's called Angus. Watch it.
No. That's actually a great idea.
But that's
also trademark. Nobody do anything with that.
That also doesn't mean Angus featuring Mazzy Star at the very end as they dance to. Love that song. I love all of it. I love all of it. There's the nuance to all of it. But I think a lot of it is, at times, I feel like watching this.
Right.
At other times, I don't feel like dealing with that. I would rather watch All Creatures Great and Small.
Right. I think Andrew, and I'm going to put words in Andrew's mouth.
Go
Andrew,
ahead.
You be sure and send me an email.
Baloney.
I think Andrew would say that form of escapism is dangerous.
I don't think it's dangerous. I think it's necessary.
I think that both forms of escapism.
You can use a break. I don't think there's anything wrong with any form of escapism. Unless it's drugs or alcohol.
I feel about to say Andrew's firing up right there. I think that there is,
because like I said, there may be people that, oh no, I've dealt with this my whole life. I'd rather not see it in front of my face.
Right. I understand that. That's not escapism.
But it is. I'm wanting to escape what I'm living
I know,
through.
but that's not escapism. If you don't want to see something, the escapism comes from
literally escapism.
No. You're saying that you don't want to watch something. You're rejecting not watching something. I'm saying that the escapism comes from watching something that completely negates that makes you forget about an experience or sidebars an experience without addressing it. You're basically pushing down emotions and experiences and not.
So that's the thing, though. I don't have to extend this beyond because we were going over.
This is supposed to be a short episode.
It's supposed to be a short episode. I don't want to have to deal with thoughts and emotions and feelings and everything going on in my life in everything I take in.
Okay. Here's the thing, though. With escapism, it makes you not deal with everything, thoughts and things in your life at all. And you never address anything. And that's what you utilize escapism for.
You could address things with your therapist. It doesn't have to be in the shows you watch.
That's my point right there. Point that I was about to make is that it is very cathartic for people. And I would say that a lot of what we see in media today is trying to capture people's experiences, albeit poorly, is to see somebody go through something that you're going through and deal with it or semblance of it. And by rejecting that and going to the side of, I just want to completely forget about it, it's the same as going, no, I just want to completely drown out my thoughts and feelings and escape chronically, go into this matrix type thing to where I never address any of my issues. Whereas media and art and entertainment can give you an outlet to do that in a way that's palatable. I think that can be extremely cathartic. And I think that's why movies and videos and it's just books can be very moving to people who are willing to engage with it in that way.
I don't deny that.
But have you?
Yes, obviously.
I know. Have you engaged with a movie and you thought you see yourself in that?
A fat man who podcasts with his friend.
I see that you're.
Let's see. Has there been a movie?
Now listen, if you can't answer,
skinny podcaster.
Listen, since you're not taking it seriously, listen. If you can't answer that immediately, then the answer is no.
Oh, come on.
No, the answer is no.
No, I'm not thinking about it right now.
No, the answer is no.
I can't think. I don't have a perfect memory.
No. It's not a memory thing. If you engage with something like that, it's with you. It's there. And that's the thing about, I think, why some people are so in tune to either books or movies or music. It's that you hear a thing that is a part of you in another form. And I think those are the two choices and the two ways that people utilize media and art and movies, is that you either engage with it with complete escapism, which there's nothing wrong with that. I think that the only time that becomes an issue is when that's all that you do with it, or you're using it as a way of being able to examine your own life and see things and be able to examine what you're doing and see it in a different form. And so if you've done that and you've had that type of impact, that's with you. I mean, it is a movie or...
Question.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a piece of art, as in a painting, that makes you feel something?
Yes.
Go ahead.
What do you mean?
I'm not into art.
Well, most people aren't, and I'm not into art either. But I went to
because I would say that's like one of the original artistic expressions.
It is,
but yet I've never looked at a piece of art and say I feel connected to that.
Well, it's when you,
and because when I think, for me, the OG artist is an artist, a person who draws or paints,
right? Yeah, and why they paint that.
And then I watch all these shows where they look at these great pieces of art. And they're like, oh, look at the way he expresses this and this and that. And I've never looked at a piece of art other than Thomas Kincaid, the painter of light, who was not apparently a good guy. And he paints these cozy cottages and stuff with light shining. And I'm like, oh, okay, that looks nice. But for me, that's the original art other than writing.
Right.
And I've never connected with one.
With a painting?
With a painting.
You've never seen a painting and felt
I've never seen a painting and felt I connect with that in one way or another.
Do you think that's because there's nothing to connect with, or do you think that you don't allow yourself to connect with it? For instance, I once stopped an artist at, it was somewhere down in Dallas. It was like one of their little, not a fair or something. It might have been something of that nature. But he was selling his artwork. And I just walked by and stopped and stared at one of his paintings that he had. And he just had eclectic things. He painted just a variety of various landscapes and then portraits, whatever. He just did it all. And I pointed to this one and I said, where did you get that? Did you do that? And he says, yeah. He says, I don't really like that one. And I laughed and I said, but it's perfect. What did you paint when you were thinking that? Because it was just black, various shades of red. I said, what did you think? He says, well, I was trying to paint like a sunrise coming through a window and it didn't work out. And then I started doing this other thing. He says, I really don't know what that is. I said, well, I know what that is. I want to know how you know what that is. And he stared at me really blankly. He says, I don't. He says, he looked at me and said, what do you think that is? I said, that's what the inside of a burning building looks like. Mm-hmm. When you finally get up on where the fire is at in the room. Mm-hmm. It's dark, it's dark, it's dark. You paint it on a black canvas, and then that's what you see. I said, it's nothing like in the movies. And unless you've seen that, you don't know that. Where did you see that? He says, I don't know. He says, I just painted that. I don't know what that is. I said, well, that is exactly what it is.
Maybe it's somebody shining a flashlight through his eyelids.
It's darkness. You can't see it. And then here's this flame. Here's this sudden burst of light, this glow. I said, that is the lighting of it. I said, that's captured just perfectly. And I've had other experiences with various other pieces of artwork that I'd seen that meant something or various things of that nature. But yeah, it's the sense of seeing something that you connect with, that you understand. I got to judge an art contest one time. It's a couple of years ago.
I think I have a disconnect. Well, I think maybe it's my attitude towards it because generally it's people telling you what this means.
But you don't know. It's not about what it means. It's what it means to you.
Right. And I haven't done that.
Well, yeah, you look at it and you see it and you appreciate it for what it is.
Because I went through like the Met in New York City.
Uh-huh.
Hated it. Like me and my wife walked through there as fast as we could.
Really?
And it's one of the like most iconic, art places there is. For school, we went to Tulsa and went through their art thing.
It was last year I took my kids to the Van Gogh exhibit that was just in town in Tulsa.
Yeah.
And they absolutely loved that. And that was truly
Maybe
amazing.
I should allow myself to feel something next time.
But it's not allowing yourself to feel it. It's not trying to categorize it as something. Like you're not.
What if art just doesn't speak to me?
Well, art speaks to everybody.
Okay.
On some level or not.
So when you say art, are you talking about painting?
I'm saying all art.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I enjoy music and TV and movies.
Oh, there you go.
But paintings don't speak to me.
Well, movies are just multiple paintings.
They're moving paintings.
But it's the sense of being able to see something and relate it back to your life or something that you yourself have experienced or what it means or what they're trying to capture through it.
Okay, so then I've never seen a painting that expresses itself to me in my life.
Well, maybe it's because you're used to using art as escapism. And art is not, yes, it can be about escapism. But when you're trying to find a deeper meaning of something, that requires you to be not only honest with yourself, but to evaluate the whole context of it, I guess, and see how it can be something that applies to you. And if you have the knee-jerk reaction of, I don't want to engage with this because it reminds me of something or it makes me feel a certain way, or it's this thing, and that's all that you only consume media that doesn't make you feel, that's the dangers of escapism. And you've numbed yourself to the quite cathartic experience of seeing something that is truly moving.
Well, I mean, I like to feel. There's plenty that makes me feel.
Feel?
I like to feel.
Like what?
I like to be. Well, that was my whole problem with Superman, this 2025 version. It made me feel nothing. I felt nothing. I was not moved.
But I'm sorry. When you said you like to feel positively.
No, not. I mean, well, sure, yeah, that's great, but I like
you would never watch Schindler's List and be like,
I love Schindler's List.
Does it make you feel good?
It does not make me feel good,
but it is moving.
It is absolutely moving.
Absolutely, and that's a prime example of something that would be incredibly uncomfortable, but at the same time, quite compelling.
I think my preferred mode of art is music,
right? Which, because strangely enough, is something I'm on the low end of that. Music does
because I can literally just listen to a song and start crying.
Oh no, I don't do that.
Even if it's.
But why?
That's a good question.
I know. Is it the particular song? Is it what it's talking about?
I have read that even science doesn't know why music moves people.
Why? Well,
but I can listen to, like I've said before, Blue October. They have several songs. Now he does sing about
chicken dance.
I do love the chicken dance. I did DJ Party recently, and the chicken dance was a big hit, as well as all other line dances. John's a listener. John, people love the line dance in your community, and also dance to Spanish music.
Anyways,
but this is weird. No, it's cathartic, as you say. I will say this. Every now and then, we're going pee on an hour, and I have to pee really bad. But every now and then, I like to pour myself a whiskey.
Yeah.
Take a few sips. Listen to a song by Blue October that I know makes me cry. And cry.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
And I like to do that.
Okay.
And I can listen to a brand new song that I've never heard before. But if it hits specific notes and or has particular words combined with the right notes, generally something, slow and sweeping and epic or dramatic.
Right. Meatloaf.
And I cry. I do love me some Meatloaf.
Well, yeah.
I can do anything for love.
But what he would not do? What was that thing? What was that one thing he would not do?
Not do that.
I want to know what it was that he wasn't going to do. He wouldn't do it.
I won't do it.
He was very clear about it. We're going to find out that it was something not that big of a deal.
What did Meatloaf not want to do?
He just didn't want to do it. I'm not taking out the trash.
I will not take out the trash or wash the dishes.
That one thing that he decided, I'm not doing that. That's woman's work. She broke up with him.
Not
gonna do it.
I have to pee tremendously.
But either way, that form of here's the thing. And
have you ever cried listening to music?
Oh yes.
Okay.
But here's my point though. When I did that, I can pinpoint what it is that's making me emotional about this thing. You're hurting? Well, go pee. I'll talk. And so I guess that's my point, is that I could pinpoint what it is that makes me emotional. Maybe that's because I put too much thought into it. Y'all need to send us an email at boardgamesnobs@gmail.com. This is all Andrew's fault. We were not meant to talk about this for this long. Nor was this meant to be a very interesting subject. It just happened to be. But yeah, I find, send me an email and tell me where I'm wrong, because I do tend to think of entertainment, certain forms of entertainment. Well, all right. I'll say this while Goppy's gone. I do have a problem that sometimes I may come across like I'm looking down on certain forms of entertainment, that type of Fast and the Furious type stuff. I'm not. I understand it. I have my own guilty pleasures of watching something that I know is not that exciting or meaningful. It's just dumb fun. Okay, I understand that. I'm not saying that you have to always engage with something that's deep and meaningful. I'm just saying is that I feel like at times we can really fool ourselves into escaping, so much so that we don't spend any time being self-reflective. I think that's exactly what I should have said to Gabi at the beginning of this to make my point. And to clarify that I'm not hating on Fast and Furious or anything that's what some might consider elementary or mundane or cliche or just your typical blockbusters. I think those are fine. I don't think everything needs to be this Daniel Day-Lewis film, which Daniel Day-Lewis has another one coming out. He's come out of retirement with Sean Bean. I love anything that's like got that whole, you can watch the trailer. I forget the name of the show already. This trailer just came out a few weeks ago. I don't even know what the show's about. But either way, It doesn't always have to be this epic, dramatic, meaningful movie or song. It can just be something that means something to you. And there's nothing wrong with it if it isn't. But I think Gabi's back finally. But I think my point is that I can think about it and know why it upsets me. Not upsets me, but why it causes me to be emotional. Does that make sense? You're whatever Blue Oyster that you're listening to. What was it?
Blue October.
You don't know why it makes you emotional.
No, he does have some lyrics that have to do with certain things that make me emotional.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Knowing what it is and being able to explore those emotions, I think, are a great thing. And I think that's what entertainment allows us to do without having to interact necessarily with another person, so to speak, on a one-to-one. You don't have to sit down and have these deep-seated things, or it could help you reveal something of yourself.
I concur.
And I think that's important. And I think that when you don't examine that, then that's when escapism becomes problematic.
Oh, that's true. It's like when you're 12 years old, you're not looking for escapism, unless perhaps you've grown up in a household.
That's all that 12 years old, or that's all kids are doing is escapism.
That's imagination.
That's all kids are doing is escapism.
Just imagine.
That's all they want to do is escape. That's what's brain rot that's
it's
on
sad
YouTube.
We lose our imaginations as we grow old.
I don't think that's true.
I remember. Okay, how much time you got?
I don't care.
Well, I don't know if your kids are like playing pickleball.
Oh, my kids. It's 7:30. Where are your children at? They're at the pickleball court with Bubba. Now I got to pick them up here in a second.
When I was a child, all I did was play outside, and I was either a secret agent or Indiana Jones type character,
right,
and just fought aliens and
you
robots.
Don't have that now.
No.
So you do know that your imagination is just another muscle.
So it's like something like writing. Like you could put that into writing and practice it.
Yeah, you practice it. And kids practice their imagination. That's why people who are writers, and they practice that. And so if you're not imagining things, if you're just always caught in other people's imaginations,
just my imagination,
such as consuming media that is escapism, that can ruin your own imagination to some degree.
That's true.
If you're not partaking in the art of imagination.
That's why I loved high school English was my favorite class growing up.
That sounds very boring.
Because we would write stories. And I used to write stories that were very derivative of aliens and or Indiana Jones.
Well, here's the thing. I bet right now you could probably pick up and write a better alien script than what's going on right now.
Probably
on this earth.
Probably so.
Here's a free tip for all you writers out there.
Free tip.
If your show is dependent on children, and when I say children, I'm thinking of like Super 8, Stranger Things,
Goonies.
Anything where you go, let's take kids and put them in a situation, but you go, wait a minute, no, let's not do that. Let's take their consciousness and put them in robot bodies and have that. Listen, stop it. Absolutely stop it. That is stupid. I don't know why that has been beat to death. It's done.
Because children are our future.
It's done. It's ignorant. I do not know.
Goonies and E.T. Spielberg started all that.
Spielberg caused this problem. And they will not stop doing this stupidity. Will not stop it.
It proved to be very profitable for him.
One of the best series to begin off with. The Quiet Place. First thing it does, kill the kid. That's a baller move.
Wow.
I will never forget that.
Wow.
That was a baller move. Joel Krasinski just going, you know what we're going to do? I mean, the executives of that place must have been like, we're going to do what now? Like, yeah, opening scene. The kid.
He's our meal ticket.
Do you mean the teenager? No, the little kid.
Wait a minute. The baby?
The baby. We're going to kill him.
No, but he's our meal ticket. He's going to be riding a bicycle at one point in scenes.
Nah. He's gone.
You want him dead?
Dead.
How do you want him to die?
I thought you starred in The Office. Aren't you? Where's Pam? Y'all wouldn't do this.
Where's Pam?
Yeah, that's what I would.
Pam have a kid, and you want
here's
to
what I
want to
watch. I want to watch The Office cast in The Quiet Place. They're all in the office. Michael Scott, the aliens attack. Michael is dying first.
Of course, he can't be quiet.
Dwight will be the one that figures it out.
Dwight will definitely figure it out.
It will end up being just Toby, Dwight, and Jim and Pam Angela.
Stanley, because he don't like doing
Stanley
anything.
gonna be quiet. The dumb guy in accounting's gone. Oscar.
Oh, he's definitely
Oscar's
gone.
my favorite. Oscar's in the new rematch.
He's in the paper.
Oscar and
I'm looking.
General Hux.
Domhnall Gleeson.
Donald Gleason.
When I was like an offshoot of The Office, please stop was my first thought.
I haven't watched the Australian one.
And then I saw the preview of it. I'm like, that actually looks good.
It's got Oscar in it. Oscar was always somebody who I thought was
Oscar in The Proposal.
Oscar's there.
I love Oscar.
Oscar's good. And he's the same character. So it's the same character. I think you'll never that show will be successful if they do not try to be Michael Scott. If they do exactly what Parks and Rec did, where it was like, look, she's going to be kind of like Michael Scott, but she's got her own thing, but she's just goofy, but we're going to have this other feel for it. That's what made Parks
and Rec is really good.
Parks and Rec would have bombed if it hadn't been for The Office. It came off of The Office.
Yeah.
It came off of that wave.
That documentary style.
And went documentary.
Modern Family did
not
the same
just
thing.
the documentarian style, but those characters.
Yeah.
That's what
So speaking of what I've been up to, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
I've been reading Dungeon Crawler Carl.
We don't have time to talk about that. Save off. We'll have to save that next.
All right.
As I don't want to delve into that.
That's a lot.
I don't. Yeah.
And I have a lot to say.
Well, you can talk about it later.
About DCC.
I don't care about
Not the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders, which I've also watched.
Go to our Facebook or Discord and put in there the games
and Patreon
you want us to play while we're at Dice Tower Retreat, because that's probably where we're at right now. Engaging in artwork. I'm going to take you. We're going to go look at artwork while we're in Orlando.
Okay, sounds good.
That will move you.
I want to see some artwork that moves me.
Will move.
I want to look at a painting and cry.
Oh no.
Or feel happy, or sad, or angry.
Sad.
Those are the 4 primary emotions.
All right, we'll find you.
Until next time.
Jay.
This is Gabby. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tolerating this episode of the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.